And we're live. I hope that you all are having the best day. I mean, it's early. It's early. Let me share this live in a couple places and we will get started. Did you guys know we were on day 22? Yeah, day 22. Um, you ready? This one is about actually taking a step out, right? We're going to take a step out and look at what we're doing. It's the beginning of phase 4. You've spent 3 weeks focusing on getting clients, getting visible, getting into the conversations, and getting on calls, making offers, making asks, and all of the work is not going anywhere, right? Some of you guys are probably feeling like you're a hamster wheel. You're adding more, and nothing's going on. We're still doing all of that. You still have to do the work. You have to do it. If you don't do it, it doesn't happen, right? But today we're going to zoom out because the truth is, most people don't think about this piece until it's too late. Getting a client's not your finish line. It's actually the starting line. What happens after someone says yes is what determines whether they become a long-term client, a raving referral source, or someone who quietly moves on and never comes back. And it all starts with your onboarding, right? Onboarding, the biggest part. Drop in the comments right now on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, I don't really have one, 10 being, mine's a rock star. Would you rate your onboarding experience? Yep, I'm listening. I am listening. I'm seeing if we can look at some of this while you're putting down your numbers, because all the numbers matter. All of the numbers matter. So I want to make sure that we pay attention to the numbers. If you're watching this on replay, still put those numbers down. Every one of those numbers tell me something, right? And by the end of today, we're going to move those up if we do the work. Topic number 1 is we're going to onboard like a CEO and not someone that's piecemealing it together. I want to ask you, think about the last time someone or you actually paid for something, right? And an experience. I want you to talk about the experience that you had. I want you to, drop it in the comments or just think about it and write it down. What was the onboard experience you had? From the time you paid for it and the experience of receiving it, that it was so good. Like, was it a car sales? Was it something that you got all this value and it felt good and you wanted to tell everybody about it? Maybe it was a restaurant where the service was so attentive that you felt like you were the VIP. Maybe it was a product that arrived beautifully packaged with a personal note to you, handwritten. Maybe it was a coach or a service provider whose onboarding was so clear and so warm that you felt completely at ease from the very first moment and the very first interaction. That's the feeling. You want to make sure that you are creating that for people. You want them to say, I made the right choice. That feeling verified how I felt, or that verified my thoughts. And that's what good onboarding creates. And here's why it matters for your business specifically, right? The first 48 to 72 hours after someone becomes a client are the most important hours that are going to change their lives. It's the most emotionally charged. It's the beginning part of your entire relationship. And that's when people sometimes have buyer's remorse, right? Either it sets in or it gets replaced by the excitement because they're dealing with anxiety and excitement, and that emotion level frequency is the same. It's how we perceive it that's different. Your onboarding is what determines whether they're excited and confident about it or they're anxious about it. Now let's break it down for each type of business like we've been doing all the last few weeks. For the coach, great onboarding looks like a welcome email that arrives within minutes of the payment, confirms what they've signed up for and what happens next, sets clear expectations about how you're going to work together, and what makes them feel like they made the best decision of their life. It also includes the intake form, a link to book the first session, and access to any resources they need to get started. No confusion, no waiting, and no silence. How often have you paid for something and not gotten a response right away? And we're like, did I pay for it? Then you look at your credit card and you're like, oh my God, I paid for it. Where is this thing that I paid for? Sometimes it lands in spam. That does happen. Another thing that we want to make sure we do is we put hours on our business. We, even though it's our business and it's 24 hours, we have to have hours where we provide solace to ourselves. For a service provider, great onboarding looks like a clear project kickoff process, a welcome message that outlines the timeline, the deliverables, and what you need from them, and what can they expect to hear, and when can they expect to hear from you next. What can they expect and when can they expect, right? The biggest mistake that most service providers make is they take the payment and they get quiet because they're going to work. They get quiet because they're going to work. But the client's sitting there wondering if they made the right call because you haven't communicated with them. So if you can set up that timeline and outlined for them as far as what things are going to happen, deliverable estimated deadlines, and give them the reality of what it is that you need from them, you're in a place where you can benefit them, right? So the biggest mistake I see service providers do is they take the payment and go quiet, go stale, go dormant. Your client is nervous. Communicating proactively, even if you just have somebody that's a project manager or you have built-in um, project check-ins, whether it's an actual check-in, a text message, an email, or you get on a 15-minute call to say, hey, we're here. We'd like to see where you're at next. We're all guilty of this, every one of us that have done it, right? Like that are in that space because you want us to deliver and you want to deliver quickly and you don't think about what it is from their side. All right, so communicate proactively. Even a quick message or a note saying I've started work on your project and I will have an update to you by Thursday eliminates any anxiety and builds the trust. For the product creator, great onboarding is super essential, especially for custom order. You want to make sure that your confirmation messages, thanks to them for trusting you and building something this personal, outline the timeline, explain the design approval process, and tell them exactly what to expect at each stage. So one of the things I want you to do here, because custom work involves a lot of emotion, because it's so personal. A client wants to feel like their vision is good in good hands. So do a quick draft with everything they talk about. And then you get on a call and have them outline what they like, what they don't like. You have to limit the amount of revisions. Absolutely have to. Um, you determine what you do, but when I was doing marketing, it was 3 revisions because you get your first draft, revision 1, revision 2. So 3 versions of that document. After that, they need to pay because there's something in their communication that is not processing. So that way, you're not holding the bag and you're not working, 50 hours on something you were anticipating being 10 hours. So if you clear up and have a clear, warm onboarding process, work that into your contract. Oh, hi Heather. You're looking at a place where you are sitting pretty, right? You want to make sure that you are creating an experience for them because it is personal. For a coach who's dealing with energy or anybody that's an energy healer, a great onboarding process for, especially you're working with stay-at-home mom, like a welcome that feels deeply personal and emotional and warm. Something that says, I'm honored you said yes to yourself today. Here's what our time together is going to look like. Here's what I need from you to get the most out of this. And here's what I want to know about you. And this is what I want you to know about working with me. That kind of welcome makes anyone, especially a mom who just invested in herself for the first time in years, feel completely held. And that feeling is what turns her into someone who tells every mom she knows about you. So when we're talking about any of this, it's all about how they feel. And regardless of what you need to do for the work, you got to make them feel good. Common thread across all of these great onboarding experiences does 3 things. It confirms they made the right decision. It sets clear expectations and it makes them feel like they're in the best possible hands. Again, it's great that you want to do the work for them, but you need to let them know you're doing the work for them. So keep the communication open and keep it professional, obviously. But you also want to make sure that you're looking at it from the lens of the customer, not just yourself. How would you feel in that moment? Every single one of the issues that you you could come up with, right? And your onboarding process is fixable. What's one thing about your current onboarding process that you know needs to be fixed? Go ahead and drop it in the chat if you can. If not, that's fine. Um, I'd love to hear and see what you guys have to say. So today's moves, we got the 4. We know how we do it. Map your current onboarding process. I want every piece that you think of from the time you've DM'd them or you've reached out or they've reached out to you through to where they've closed. That's section 1. And then your phase 2 would be from close to delivery. And delivery could be your appointment if you're doing energetic healing and an energetic alignment. It could be the whole series. It could be all of that. How are you handling the customer journey? I guess it would be this way because we're reversed. Write it down. Write down every single step as it happens. Write down what's going on. Is there common threads of communication? When you see it on paper, like paper, you get to know more. Move 2. Identify one step that's missing and confusing you today or that's delaying for a new client, right? Not just one, not everything. One specific thing you could fix today. And it would be meaningful improvement for the next client. And your follow-up could be one of them, right? Because you get them in here and then you don't follow up, so then they fall off the radar, so you never get them onto the call, which never gets the cycle going. Or is it from the discovery call to the sales call, and then they drop off, so you don't get them into your pipeline, or you don't get them further down the pipeline. So think about one specific thing. Name it out loud. Move 3, fix or improve that one step today. Not next week. Today's the most important thing. Do it imperfectly. Imperfect action is still action. If we wait for everything to be perfect, we're going to be waiting forever. Even if it's just a quick update to any existing messaging or a new template you tweaked in 20 minutes, or done and improved beats perfect every single time. Done and improved beats perfect every single time. If you delay for perfection, you're going to delay forever. Speaking to myself. Move number 4 is create or update your welcome email, your onboarding message, and all those things, because it's super important. It's the first thing a new client sees, reads, and it's the first thing they do after they pay you. So they need to feel the warm and fuzzies. Warm and fuzzies. It should feel warm, clear, professional, and personal. And should feel like you, not a robot. It should confirm their decision was the right one. And it should tell them exactly what happens next. And it should make them feel. You hear all the shouldas? We don't want to shit all over ourselves, but we do want to make sure that we are hitting these marks, right? It should be professional. It should be clean. It should confirm that they made the right decision. It should tell them what exactly happens next, and it should make them feel genuinely excited about what's coming. Remember to put those hours on your business so you're not working 24 hours a day. Personal move. Create a post. I want you to post something like, I've been thinking about a lot lately what it feels like to be a new client. Not just what gets delivered, but the experience of working together, what it feels like from beginning to end. Ask your audience, what's been the best experience you've ever had with customer service or an onboarding experience? We want to invite people to talk. And the reason we want to invite people to talk, they like to be heard. But also, we want to make them be in a space that feels comfortable to them, makes them happy, makes them feel valued. And if we do that from the onboarding process on, and even in our questions, 1, the algorithm loves us. 2, it just helps us get further along. You know where the worksheet is. So today, I want you to walk away with this one thing. Your onboarding is not just operations, and it's not just questions. It is a marketing tool for you. It is the moment your client decides whether they made the right choice and sing your praises to the rafters, or if they feel that they've been taken advantage of. You want somebody that feels completely taken care of from day one, and they become a client who refers everyone to you. Map that process, fix your steps, update your welcome message. If you want to, drop what you fixed in the group today. I want to see what improvements you're making. I can't wait to celebrate your next CEO move. Let's get you paid.